aka DJ Key Lime Pie.
DJ Key Lime Pie. Yo, that key lime pie looked delicious. It
it
looked
looked
fake, but
it
it
looked
looked
so
good.
fake. It looked
It looks.
so fake.
I want to eat it, man. Like I want to eat the fake goop.
That scene was so distracting to me because Tom Hiddleston was not eating it. He was just spinning the fork around over and over and then putting an empty spoon into his mouth. And I was like, this motherfucker is not even eating it. It is pissing me off. He was just eating like tiny bits of the whipped cream. And I'm
I
like,
know.
it was so that scene was so annoying to me.
The color though looked so interesting. I want to try it.
I do like key lime pie though. Key lime pie is delicious. It's my second
100%
favorite
agreed.
pie. My second favorite pie.
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't say
My,
second favorite, but it's up there.
my first favorite is banana cream pie. So good, so good.
Allow me to introduce you to pecan pie.
Pecan's okay. I fuck with pecan. I didn't always fuck with pecan, but now it's just all right. It's not bad. I don't hate me pecan pie.
Okay, next time you're in Houston, right? We're gonna go to
Yeah.
House of Pies. I'm gonna get you a pie called Bayou Goo.
Ooh, Bayou Goo. Okay.
It sounds disgusting, but it's amazing.
All right, all right. I just need to find a reason to go to Houston.
Hey, I'm always here, man.
I know, but there's gotta be like other stuff to do.
Wow, thanks, Neves.
Oh man, oh man. All right, listen. Speaking of other things to do, someone who has other things to do is Sylvie. She'd rather be at McDonald's than back at the TVA, and we get to see her back in the show. What are your thoughts of the return of Sylvie?
You know, I kind of get where they were coming from when they said, of all the places you could be, why would you go to a fucking McDonald's when you have all the freedom in the world? But it was weirdly charming almost. Like, just in the middle of nowhere, like Braxton, Oklahoma, at a McDonald's. And she's just working there, living, whatever life she wants. It was comforting, but it didn't hit for me exactly.
Interesting. You know, McDonald's was my first job. That was the first job I ever had.
Yo, really?
Yeah, McDonald's was my first job.
That's amazing. Oh, sweet. We got MTF in the comments. What up, MTF?
Yo, MTF. Yo, read your DMs, bro. I've been DMing you, asking you to come back on the show, and you haven't you haven't replied.
Yo, if you want to come on right now, just send him the link.
Yo, I don't have his email. You have his email. Send him the link. Just forward it to him.
Okay, sure.
We're doing this live. Just come on the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, McDonald's was my first job. I think I was 15 or so, and I know all their secrets. Like, you know how there's like that Muslim conspiracy where everyone's like, you can't have the fish fillet because they dip the same oil in the bacon and all that stuff. That's not true. The fish fillet has its own section.
Yeah, right. Like the fish smell would get in the oil. Like you wouldn't.
Yeah. The fish fillet has its own section, and the French fries have their own section. So they're not deep frying any bacon next to the fish fillet. You guys are good. Also, the reason the McDonald's ice cream machine is always broken is because this company has a monopoly on the ice cream
The
machine.
repairs.
Yeah, the repairs, and only they can do the repairs, and they're like backed up like crazy. So that's why the ice cream machine is always broken.
Yeah. What's funny? One other company actually made like a DIY fixing tool for it, and they were selling it for like a tenth of the cost of actually like hiring that one monopolizing company to do it.
Yeah.
That company sued the company who made the DIY thing and won, and now they can't even do that.
Wow. And you know what's really funny? Like back in the day, they used to have McFlurries. And the McFlurries used to, what happens is the spoon on the McFlurry is actually the mixing device. So you put the vanilla ice cream in there, then you put the candies in there, then you put the spoon in there, and the spoon gets connected to the machine, and the machine spins around everything, right? They don't spin it around anymore. The McFlurries just have like toppings on the top. They don't mix them anymore.
Of course not. The machine's always broken.
I know. So I don't know why we got into a tangent on McDonald's. Also, you know one thing I think is really funny when Sylvie goes on a break, she gets like a meal with her, and that's actually true. Every McDonald's employee gets free lunch. Like you get a free meal on your break.
That's cool.
You get whatever you want on the menu. Like you could just like pick whatever you want.
Bro, I kind of want a fish fillet right now.
What's she order? Fish fillet. you,
That's a
you
different kind of fish fillet, but okay.
you know what I order at McDonald's
What?
is not on the menu, but I order a grilled cheese sandwich. They can make it for you. You just ask them for a cheese.
What?
You ask them for a cheeseburger without the burger.
I'm not paying for that.
I did. I used to do that all
Yo,
the time.
redemption. We got Brandon in the comments saying, I want key lime pie after Loki, TBH. Thank you, Brandon.
Um,
Redemption for Jazz.
Yo, Brandon's on our podcast. Yo, that's a big deal, man. This is guys the Phase Zero like hero, Phase Zero hero. That's awesome. Just made that up. Brandon, we didn't see you at Comic Con this year, man. I missed you, but like, hopefully next time we get to see you again. Definitely check out the Phase Zero podcast. I think they also do a Thursday episode with Loki's, and it's doing really well. I've been checking it out on the podcast while I was on vacation.
Great
But
stuff.
yeah, dude, let's get started, man. What about this X5 guy, bro? Brad Wolf. What are your thoughts about this? Because I was hella annoyed.
That was my thoughts too. Like, who the hell is this annoying douchebag? Like, yes, he went to the timeline that he wanted to be in. He became a movie star. And then he was just being so shady about it. You want to get into that whole scene real quick where how they first introduced him?
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, like they're at this premiere. Is it a premiere or was it just like a cinema kind of thing or like a
No,
gathering?
it was a premiere, it's like a red carpet premiere for his new movie called
Mm.
Zombie Zaniac or something. Oh,
Zaniac, yeah.
we got a guest. What up, MTF? What's
Hey
going on?
y'all.
You made
Oh,
it.
Your mic's a little loud, but yes.
Oh, sorry. That
You
was
did.
just me trying to be Mike Minutes, scaring you all.
Oh yeah.
Mike Minutes. I love it.
Oh, that's so funny. Mike Minutes, Miss Minutes. Oh man, we haven't had an appearance by Miss Minutes yet. So I'm counting the numbers, the days until she's there.
It'll be this week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably.
All right, man. So we got two people for key lime pie. What are your thoughts about the key lime pie, MTF?
It has been a long time since I've had a key lime pie, so I would probably take my chances in
Mm.
the
You know-
TVA
3 to
key
1.
lime.
All right. You know what the best thing about being in Jersey is? We have diners in almost every single city, and they're open late night, and they all got pies.
Oh, you're so unique.
Yes.
Oh, you got diners and pie at night. Oh my god.
Listen, a lot of cities don't, okay? I've been to these towns in the middle of America. They do not have diners, all right? I was
I
just
guess
in,
I'm spoiled.
I was just in Edmonton, Canada. You know what time everything closes in Edmonton, Canada? 6 p.m. The entire city just shuts down.
No.
Why?
I don't know. There's nothing. I couldn't get a coffee. I couldn't get a bite to eat. Everything just shut down on a Saturday at 6 p.m. It's wild.
That is
I
crazy.
guess it's because it's so far north and so cold that it's probably not safe to go out after a certain point in time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is, man. But that was great. Brandon's like, I miss diners. Brendan, if you're ever in Jersey, I'll take you to the best diner. I'll take you to TikTok Diner, which is the diner where one of the partners killed the other partner of the diner.
What?
Yeah, this diner was like involved in the mob, bro.
So was this tick or talk?
I I think Tick Kill Talk. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking
Oh,
of time, let's
yeah.
talk about the TVA.
All right, let's
Um,
talk about the TVA, man. Well, let's talk about Brad Wolf, man. What are your
Okay.
thoughts on him? Because I feel like Brad Wolf had a big personality shift from episode 1 to episode 2. He was like this, like really stuck-up person who was kind of just like all by the books and was really into being the TVA. And then all of a sudden, he's just off the books and kind of just
But-
ran away, did his own thing, and it almost. I didn't even realize it was the same character for like
So
the
I-
first
I-
few minutes.
I knew it was the same character, and I agree about the personality shift. But he was still kind of a jerk or a dick or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I guess we can say it on the show. It's been a while.
Yeah, this one's explicit, so
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was
but he was-
dick-ish.
He was a dick in the first episode, and I guess I got the sense that he was being like nihilistic, which you
Yeah.
sometimes see with people when they're like too by the book. Once they realize that the rules don't
Ah.
matter anymore, they're like,
Yes.
well, fuck it, I might as well, do everything that I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah, little Rick Sanchez and his personality. He's just like, fuck it, man. Nothing matters.
His whole
Exactly.
I
worldview
Yeah,
shattered.
yeah. He says plenty of times the TVA isn't real. The TVA doesn't matter. So I totally get what you're saying. Um, but then Loki chases him down, which I thought was funny, and we see Loki up
Mhm.
to his old tricks, doing these uh, illusions and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. What are your thoughts of Loki chasing down Brad Wolf?
That was definitely cool. I mean, that was one of the, I know that one of the criticisms of the show last season was that their action scenes weren't so great, so I like that they had both a chase sequence and an illusion sequence, and it gave us a little bit of a taste of the suave, like James Bondy Loki that I think
Yeah,
a lot of us were expected when we first heard about the show.
yeah,
That's a
totally.
great way to describe it. The suave James Bondy version of Loki, because that's exactly what it felt like. So yeah,
It's
that's a
it's
great way to
funny
describe it.
It's funny you say that because Tom Hiddleston was one of the people in the running to be James Bond, which
Right.
was kind of interesting that you say that. All right, so the chase scene happens. Then we go into the Loki symbol title scene, which I someone told me the title scene for Loki is the font from every single movie Loki was in. So they take like
Interesting.
one letter from
Hmm.
the font every single movie he was in. So it would be like Avengers, it would be Thor: The Dark World, Ragnarok, every single movie that he's been in. That's what the fonts are in the beginning, which I didn't really know that. I thought that was really
That's
cool.
clever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very
yeah.
clever. I
It's
mean,
like
I always wondered where the different letters where they were taking it from. So it's good
yeah,
to know that it was different fonts from different movies.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
I want to kind of go back and reconstruct all the different letters.
Right? Yeah, just
yeah.
like go on MS Paint and copy them
Yeah,
over.
it's like the reverse of a ransom note. Like you're like
Oh
taking
yeah,
apart.
ransom. That's so funny. All right. So Obi is in the room and he is trying to put together some weapon that would save the loom. And they come in there with Brad Wolf's temp pad and they're like, "Hey, can you fix this?" And Obi goes, "Yeah, sure. Is this a bigger priority than the loom?" Like, no, no. You do what you're doing. We'll be
Yeah.
all right. Which I think
I
is
love
funny.
the delivery of that. It's like, I mean, if this is bigger than the destruction of all reality, I guess.
Like, just so matter of fact, and you know he would do it too if they asked him to.
Love it. That was so funny. So they tried to put together this like temp pad, and it's just so funny seeing Loki sit there and with a screwdriver and try to fix his temp pad with Mobius, which is funny because this guy was just you know he was just taking over America and the world with his army, which I
Yeah.
think was really funny. And now he's sitting at a desk trying to figure out how to figure out the temp pad. And our hero Casey comes in and goes, "Oh, that's not what it was for. It's for something completely different." I read. Haven't you read the TV Guide handbook?
Yeah,
Apparently,
I love the Casey Obi fast friendship. It was like, did we just become best friends? Like,
they really did.
Yep.
They really did become best friends. I thought that was really really funny. I love that. Casey got his autograph, which was good for him. And then they're like, "All right, listen, we know that Brad Wolf is lying," and so they go to where he's being held, and they try to interrogate him. First time, it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well. They got Mobius's number. Mobius gets upset, get some key lime pie. and and I love the way Loki tries to comfort him. He goes, "Hey, yeah, it happens, right? One time I was so pissed off at my parents that I went down to Earth and tried to subjugate a whole entire people." Just like that.
that is just like Loki to frame it as a tantrum. It's like we all have our moments.
It's like if my family didn't put me through so much trauma, I would have never have done that.
Yeah.
Bruh.
That's how the mainstream media frames a story anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, always,
If it's a black or a
always.
brown person, it's like it's their problem, but it's a white god. What can we look at the parents? Can we look at how he was raised?
You know what's really
Dude,
funny?
that's so accurate.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because Loki is essentially somebody who tried to commit genocide on Earth. And if you go to Miss Marvel and when they go to Avenger Con, there's people dressed up as Loki. Like, why? Like, I get it that he's a villain, but like in that reality, he is literally Hitler. Like, I don't understand.
That is a really good point. I never thought about the fact that he never effectuated the face turn on
Yeah,
Earth. Like,
yeah.
like he did it all in space. I mean, maybe Thor put in a good word for him later.
Or maybe Ant-Man with his podcast.
That'd be hilarious, low key, on the podcast.
Yeah, but then Paul Rudd just made Loki a hero. Pun
Leave it
intended.
to Paul Rudd. My God.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. What was the podcast name again? Called again? The Little Guy.
Yeah, it was like "Don't Overlook the Little Guy" or something like that.
I think that was his book. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a book.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Which was really really funny. All right, so they interrogate this guy, and they're like,
It
"All
was
right,
God cop, bad cop. You know.
yeah, God,
God
bad
cop,
cop.
bad cop.
I'm so glad you're on this episode. 'Cause that's a
Dude,
fire.
this is so great.
That's a fire line. God cop, bad cop. So, in this episode, they try to work this machine, and Loki says, "I don't have the keypad for it." So Mobius goes outside to get the keypad, and then he locks Mobius out. Now, the reason this scene works so well is because earlier this guy just gave like a whole line about like how everything he touches dies, and he's responsible for his mother's death, and all he'll ever be is just a villain. So Loki's like, "Fuck it, let's lead into this motherfucker, right?" So he's like, "All right, I have the keypad right here. Let's turn this on. Let's try to figure out how to use it. I have no idea how to use it." And before you know it, there's like a box on this guy, and it keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, to the point where he kind of breaks and finally gives in. And then turns out it was Mobius's trick all along, which I totally saw coming. Still pretty well executed. What were your thoughts on this scene?
I mean, I love a good pun always. So the fact that this episode is called Breaking Brad, it's like, I did the Weebay gif. I was like, oh, they did it, but yeah, I mean, I had a feeling that was a scheme, but they played it to perfection. They really, they really worked it.
Mm-hmm. I actually love the fact that he was like playing with the controls, and then he's like, "Ooh, what does this do? Ooh, okay." And then he just keeps going, and I'm just like, "All right, I believe he's learning. Cool." But
yeah,
we all know he knew what he was doing the whole time.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to know is how far does this technology go? Like, if he did crunch him, could he reverse it and then uncrunch him?
No, I think once you're crunched. I don't think. I think like you can miniaturize the box so the box gets big again, but the person stays crunched.
I mean, I feel like, that was the thing, because it's it's the TVA and it's time based. So I didn't know if this technology like had some kind of time component to it. So it was like the box was getting smaller, but like you could make it bigger because it came from like a different timeline or whatever. You know what I mean?
There was actually, if you notice, in the back of one of the scenes in episode 1, they have a poster about the machine and how it works. So
okay, I missed that.
Yeah. It's a very small thing, like you wouldn't know.
I missed it too. My God.
Yeah. Well, for me, like I watched the first 2 episodes early. I thought I got a screener, and because of like I had already seen the second episode, so when I rewatched the first episode, I noticed these things.
You knew to look out for it.
Yeah.
What's the name of the machine again? Do you remember that?
No, it just told the machine.
The Torturnator 9000. Who knows?
I don't know. All right. So there's one point where Loki goes, "Lives at stakes," and he goes, "Lives at stakes? You're a fucking villain, bro. What you talking about? Lives at stakes?" I thought that was hilarious. All right, so they decide to go down to Earth, to Midgard, and Mobius and Loki and X5 go to this McDonald's. At the McDonald's, Sylvie is simply working at McDonald's. She seems to be a good employee. The kid asked her to do something. She's like, "Already done it." I was like, look at Sylvie trying to get employee of the month. I thought that was really really funny. She's just loving her life there at McDonald's. How she get a job with no social security card? That's what I want to
Hey,
know.
hey, it's the 80s. Don't ask questions,
Don't
okay?
ask
Oh yeah.
questions. Plus, she can enchant people still. She just is like,
Oh,
yeah,
you're right.
you want
You're
to give
right.
me a job.
That is true. That is true. But she is an illegal alien, so
But again,
she the white one.
white.
God damn it. She's white.
Exactly. He invented the Karen.
She invented the Karen. I mean, the TVA was basically a black-owned business, and she was a Karen complaining about it. If you
That's
think about
right. It's like I'd like to speak to the manager, and then the manager was the manager who remained.
it. She was literally the manager of the TVA.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that's so funny. Uh, all right, so X5 is itching to get out of there, and we can't figure out why. As Mobius is sitting there enjoying chicken McNuggets and just having a milkshake. God, I miss milkshakes. I haven't had milkshakes in a while.
Dude,
Uh,
I'm straight up going to McDonald's after this. Like, I
Yeah, I
I
wonder what
haven't
the
eaten all
uptick of
day.
sales. I wonder if the uptick of McDonald's sales was because of that massive product placement.
oh, don't you guys know Loki is actually doing a McDonald's whatchamacallit thing there
Promotion?
promotion? Yeah, so all of the sweet and sour sauce are like Loki flavored, like they have Loki symbols on it, and people are collecting them. So people are
Oh
like
wow,
running, yeah,
I didn't even know about that.
yeah, the sweet
Is
and
this the
sour sauce.
Szechuan sauce bullshit again from Rick and
Yes,
Morty?
it's back. I mean, didn't these guys write for Rick and Morty? Didn't some of the people on
Yes,
Low Key?
I believe some of the people on Loki did right for New Rick and Morty. You're right. We
Oh
got some
my
more.
god.
We got some more people in the comments. Brendan was talking about the diner in Woodbridge called Galaxy. Yes, that's still there. And fun fact: you ever watch that show? What would you do with John Quinones?
No, I
No.
haven't seen it.
Oh, it's this thing where they put people in this predicament. Like there'll be like a racist couple at a diner, and people would overhear, and
Oh,
then
I've seen
people.
clips.
Oh yeah, I have
Yeah,
seen that show.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then people would step in and stuff like that. So that show is always filmed at Galaxy Diner in Woodbridge. So
Oh,
that
okay.
was cool. We also got Polar Knights here. He's here. Shout out to Polar Knights. He's one of our Twitch people. We don't know how to promote people on Twitch, but somehow he found us. So we appreciate you, brother. We got to learn how to use Twitch better.
Yeah,
All right.
he's from Norway,
Norway. Yeah,
I believe.
Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks
perfect
for
for
joining us.
Loki.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, absolutely. All right. So they find Sylvie, and Sylvie says, I'll get off a break in 5 minutes. And Loki seems very, very happy to see her. There are times where I think Loki is more invested in working with Sylvie again than he is in saving the world. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that they had a rough breakup.
Yeah.
They
They're the
like
same people. though.
Understatement of the year.
She kicked him out of Time Door after she kissed him.
he didn't have time to write an R&B song, but he was definitely trying to figure out like Sylvie, please. Like you um and listen, who among us hasn't gone to his ex's place of business and
Yeah.
tried to get her to give him another chance?
Yeah.
So
Loki's
You
in
know,
there
I know
like,
you're saying that as a joke, but I feel like almost every guy can relate to that.
Loki's out there writing a song like "It's tearing at my heart when I'm with you," and when we are apart, I feel it too. Like it's just literally the galaxy just tearing them apart.
he should have
I,
showed up with a giant boombox.
oh
You're right.
yeah,
It
Inside
would
the
have been
window.
it would have been era appropriate as
yeah,
well.
that
Mhm.
would have been era appropriate. You're
It's
right.
80s, yeah.
All right. So he tries to convince her to come back to the TVA because he saw her in the future and he's trying to figure out like what's happening here. She's like, don't know, don't give a fuck. And she's just like, it's none of my problem anymore. And he's like, what happens when the other He Who Remains show up? She's like, I'll kill them too. I don't give a fuck. Sylvie does not have any idea how this galaxy is working or how anything works here.
Yo,
Well,
but
I think she thought she was hiding out in a safe timeline. I think that because she had stolen the temp pad, I think
Yeah.
she tried to basically conceal herself in a McDonald's, which is a great place to conceal yourself, I suppose. And whatever carnage was happening with the multiverse, surely Kang would not take out this timeline with the lone McDonald's in Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
believe it. On top of that, I also believe that Loki would kill the other Kangs. Like, she's done it once. I'm sure she can do it again. I'm sure there might be other violent or more violent Kangs out there, but given Sylvie's knack for her own violence, I
True.
don't doubt it.
I don't know. I don't know. Cause like she killed the last He Who Remains because he let her. I don't know if she could hold her own. What do you
Well,
think?
but she thinks she can.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
thinks she can. Well, like, she
and
has,
she's taken out
she, she has the
several
confidence of a white
squadrons of
woman.
well, right, but she has taken out several squadrons of TVA
That is true.
people over time, over like decades.
That is true. She killed like 40 other people. That is true.
Even seen right after, like when we're getting into them stopping everything, she was just killing everybody left and right.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's that's like
So
second nature to her, killing TVA agents,
yeah, that's true. So
killing
before
time.
killing time. So
Oh
before that
my god,
happened,
ominous.
X5 finally admits why he let Sylvie go, and that's because that timeline was going to be obliterated anyway. So that's why he didn't bring her in, which I guess is an explanation. I don't know if it's a really really good one. So he basically found her, and they were like, "Okay, we'll just blow up this timeline." And he's like, "Okay, good. I'm gonna go be a movie star in the sacred timeline." Kind of
Well, I mean,
weird, a little
I think
clunky.
I think it sort of makes sense from this perspective. Like he had some kind of weird connection with Alyssa Aaron. I don't know what her character's name is. The
Who?
woman
Oh,
who was
Docs.
Mm-hmm.
Dots. Okay, yeah. I just know her
Docs.
having her son be breastfed way too late into life.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
she had a weird
I see
relationship
it.
with him, and you know she was definitely going off book with her plan to bomb all the timelines. So
yeah,
I think the deal was kind of like you get to do whatever you want on the sacred timeline, and let us effectuate our plan of bombing everything. It seemed, again, it was breaking protocol. The TVA has rules, but the rules don't matter anymore, and everyone's just doing what they want.
yeah. It's,
So
it's like a game of whose line is it anyways. The points don't matter, and no one cares what's going on. I totally get that. But in the meantime, Obi is trying to fix things, and he realizes, oh shit, a lot of this stuff is something he can't override. Only Miss Minutes can, and He Who Remains can. So we're all gonna die, and then he explains to Casey, and Casey and him, become besties, and they're trying to figure out what's going to happen next. So that's what's happening on that end, and then we go back to Sylvie, and she starts to believe that X5 has set up a trap. They go and they find the place where this trap is happening. They start beating up people. Loki and Sylvie hold hands, and a bunch of green mist comes out, and they beat up a lot of people that way. I don't know what that was, but okay. I don't know if they're fighting with the power of love or the power of narcissism, because he's into her, but he's technically into himself. So I don't know. It's a wild, but
As Moby said, it's weird.
it
yeah.
is it is super weird. So they knew the setup, but before they were able to catch Docs, they blew up almost every timeline, and I counted, and I think only 4 timelines remained. So
But
all the wrenches were done.
well, no, but now here's my question. I have a couple questions, but the first one is, but the branches grow back, right? I mean, like the pruning is just those are the branches that were had grown since He Who Remains was killed. So those people are dead for sure. But
Yeah,
but there will be new timelines if they don't continue pruning. That's
that
was my
that's
understanding.
true. That's true. There will be new timelines.
Well, the new timelines exist every time there's a variant.
Yes.
I don't know if they're making it so that no more variants can spawn, essentially. Because if no more variants can spawn, then no more branches would come off.
Oh, you
No,
see,
I don't think they can
yeah,
do
I think
that.
I think it's more like an actual, like a real plant, like like every little bit, like a new branch grows,
Yeah, you
and if you
just
don't
snip it off.
and if you
Yeah.
don't snip it off, then it'll keep growing. So it had grown a whole bunch of different branches, and then they came through and just hit the chainsaw,
So
and
what you're
just
saying is the sacred timeline is really a sacred bush.
yeah,
Yes. Accurate.
um,
Okay.
but and like, never mind. Time specific.
Yeah.
In the 80s, trimming of the bush was not a thing.
I knew you were going there, and I was like, "Please do it, please do it."
I was
Thank
hoping
you.
somebody would go there. I gave you the layup.
Exactly.
Yep.
And listen, and Sylvie's European, so she knows.
Oh man, that is true. That is true. She's not Brazilian. That's what we know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Brazilian Sylvie is all about pruning those timelines.
All right, the show has gone off
All
the
right,
rails.
good job, guys. We're done.
The show has gone off the rails. Let's all right, let's get back to the show. So after this timeline stuff happened, they just look horrified at these branches and realizing all these people are dead. And he tries to tell Sylvie to stay, and she goes, "Nope, I'm gone." And before she leaves, he goes, "It's harder to stay," which I thought was damn. Tom Hiddleston just delivers that line so well. I thought that was really really great. And
Brilliant
then
line.
yeah, and then we just see Sylvie just chilling on top of a Ford while this teenager is like, "Are you coming into work tomorrow?" She's like, "Yeah, I'll be there." I thought
So
that was pretty funny.
So I've only seen the episode once this week. Did we talk about the revelation with Loki telling the rest of the TVA about Renslayer?
No.
Did that not happen in the last episode, or did that happen in this episode?
Well,
Happened
he
in this
heard it.
episode.
He heard it in the last episode, but
Okay.
he tells everybody else about it in this episode, and that's how they
Ah.
figure out that she's working with Miss Minutes.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. So they found out that Miss Minutes and Renslayer are working together, with He Who Remains, who technically does not remain anymore. So we just figure out where is Renslayer, where is Miss Minutes. Um, I'm very curious. I want to see more Miss Minutes. I feel like Miss Minutes is going to have a significant role in here. We just haven't seen her yet. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what this week's episode is going to hold. What are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen?
So I'm thinking that this might be the episode that we get Jonathan Majors. Obviously, haven't seen any of the screeners or whatever, but if they're trying to figure out where it all began based on the last thing that Renslayer was trying to do, was trying to figure out also where everything began. They may know kind of when time travel was invented, and therefore they'll trace it back to the root to Victor Timely, which they then might find out is actually He Who Remains. Because remember,
Right.
only Loki has seen him.
Yes.
So,
Loki and Sylvie.
well, right, but I mean between Loki and the rest of the TVA. So,
Right.
so he could.
Yep.
So to the extent that they know that there's a guy named Victor Timely, they'll only know him as He Who Remains if Loki points him out.
That's true. And we saw this scene at the end of Quantum Mania. So we know this scene like exists.
True. Yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, I think you're right. I think we might see it soon. So yeah, what about you, Jazz? What are your predictions?
Dude, I have no idea where this can go. Like, my issue with Marvel's multiverse
Okay.
is that it's so chaotic, right? It can go any which way. A lot of people will not be happy. A lot of people will be very happy with the way it goes. But because there's so many loose threads here, right? So many different branches. I do not know where it can go. I do not I can't even predict how the story will unfold at this point. Because even, MCF, whatever you were saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could easily just be like, oh, hey, that was a red herring. You were wrong the entire time. And, there's no way
Sure.
to be like, hey, what about this, and this? No, every thread is still open right now. I have no idea where this can go.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, to me, that's a feature and not a bug. Like, one of the cool
Yeah,
things about
sure.
time travel stories is that you don't always know where the beginning of the story is and where the end of the story is, and often they intersect. So even when people are talking about like the multiverse, we don't know if this is happening before these things that are happening with the multiverse or after these things that happen with the multiverse,
Also
where
true.
where it gets all resolved into the sacred, quote unquote, sacred timeline. We don't know at what point. I don't know if you guys used to watch Doctor Who back in the day or
Oh,
still
love
watch
Doctor
Doctor
Who.
Who,
Timey
but
wimey, all that
like
stuff. Yeah.
River's song, her whole deal is that she's operating in a different order than everybody else. So we're seeing her at different points in her story, and then she's like, spoilers, like, so for all we know, any Kang we run into could be kind of doing the River Song thing where they're ahead of the game or behind the game, depending on when, where our characters are.
Yeah, very true, very true. And they could have different intentions in different times. And at one point, they could be the hero of their story, and in another timeline, they could be the villain of their story. So
Right.
we
And
really don't
it's
know.
and in some, they Loki could end up being the cause of their villainous turn and not even know it.
That is
Mm-hmm.
true. That is true. I'm very excited to see that. But honestly, I gotta say this episode was a little clunky for me. I just
Yeah.
like it, I'm not. I watched the first two episodes together in a
Okay.
screening, and I was just like, okay, what now? Like the way this episode ends. It ends kind of cleanly, but a little too, where you're just like, what's happening? They got docs, but the timelines are gone. What are they doing next? They have no lead.
Yeah.
Then
I mean, I
and
felt like
Well,
the first, sorry to cut you off. I felt like the first episode was more propulsive.
yes,
We knew what every character wanted, and we were up against a ticking clock,
yep,
and there was a story and there was a speed at which the story moved that kind of kept things going, even though there was a lot of stuff happening that we didn't fully understand. The way that the episode was paced kept us engaged. The second
yes,
episode felt like it was, depending on your speed, it was either luxuriating in the story or meandering. And there were times in the hour that I felt like it was doing a little bit of both. Like, at
mm-hmm.
times I was just like soaking up the vibes. I was happy that they were eating key lime pie. Then other times I was like, but aren't you guys like trying to solve a mission right now?
Yeah,
Like, is there, I mean, I know time moves differently in the TVA, but I feel like the last scene you were urgent. This scene you don't seem as urgent.
yeah.
You know,
I totally agree with you there. I thought that was that part of it made it kind of like a little bit clunky for me, and I really thought like, okay, we got this like big character shift with X5, which is fine.
mhm.
And, the whole Brad Wolf. We don't know how much time was spent, and then the timelines are trimmed, so Obi doesn't really have a problem anymore. Because the reason everything was going to explode and he needed to get it fixed right away was because there were too many looms in the
Yeah.
sacred timeline and stuff like that. And now that all these branches are trimmed, he doesn't have a problem until they start branching off again.
Or it bought him more time.
It bought him more
Um,
time, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one of my theories is that Obi is actually the only one in the TVA who hasn't had his mind wiped. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
oh,
That's a good
I
theory.
think he was down there in his little room, and they sort of forgot about him. And I think at some point he's going to realize that he's got more information than everyone else has.
So when it comes to the TVA, it was really he who remained.
Exactly.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I also want to see like Renslayer's whatchamacallit relationship
Oh,
with he who
actually, wait, I
remains.
got a better pun. I got to jump in with my pun though.
Oh, what's your one?
The He's he who retains because he's got all the memories. Right.
Okay, okay. He who remains, he who retains. Oh man, this is the pun show, guys. That's great. This is the wrong Marvel show. We're actually covering Punisher because all we're doing is punishing you with puns.
Good night, everybody.
Honestly, I think we'll just end it there. We covered the episode and we killed you guys with our corny dad jokes. All right, MTF. Any final thoughts about this episode?
No, no. I mean, I'm really looking forward to. I'm still bummed that we're not doing Tuesday episodes because it's
I
just those extra
know
2 days like feels like forever. Um,
it really screws up our timeline because we have like we do the Bachelor also airs on Thursday, so we got Bachelor in Paradise, then we got the Golden Bachelor, and then we got Gen V, and then we got Loki. They're all coming out on Thursdays.
right.
It's
Not to
it's it's a
mention
mess.
that Thursdays are when the movies come out.
That's true.
Like
Thursdays,
it's
yeah.
yeah, so it's too much. It's too much for Thursday nights. They need to
I
go
know.
back to Tuesdays, so then we could spend all of Wednesday avoiding spoilers,
Yeah.
and then just, have record our podcast on Thursdays and Fridays, and then I've got something to listen to on the weekends. Like
Yeah. Luckily, there hasn't been any spoilers online, and I think that's due to the strike. So people aren't like covering a lot of stuff because of the strike. So I haven't seen too many spoilers. But other than that, I think I don't know. The date kind of messes things up, but we'll see. I do
yeah.
know that the Loki finale is on the same day that the Marvels premieres. So the Marvel will
Oh
premiere on
no.
Thursday. Loki finale is also on Thursday. I'm just like, why are you guys
Why?
sabotaging yourself? It's just weird.
Yeah, I mean the
That's
only
gross.
yeah, especially because now with the time frame, most of us are either right about if we do see it on that Thursday night, we're either in the theaters when the episode drops
Yeah.
or just about to go into the theater when the episode drops. So it's going to be hard to prioritize that.
Right. And then that whole week of like discourse and talking about it and hyping up the movie is going to be split between two shows. It's gonna be everyone's gonna be talking about the Marvels, or they're gonna be talking about the Loki finale. So it's not gonna get as much word of mouth, and it's also already predicted not to do well because
Yeah,
misogyny and the
exactly.
strike. There's not enough people promoting it. Uh, I don't know.
Do
It's
you
got a
think that it's pot? I mean, again, I don't know. I don't have insights or anything like that. But like, do you think that it's possible that maybe a post credit scene connects the two?
no. I don't think
No.
so. No,
Yeah,
I
probably
think
not.
I think they had a chance to connect the two in the Skrulls show, but that show was so bad that like no one really cared. It got
Yeah,
I don't even know if people got to the end of that show to see an end
exactly.
credit. But yeah, no, I don't really see it in Loki. I'm sure there will be, but I don't know. I think they
It just
need.
seems like a wasted opportunity if they are going to have one lead in, like the end of Loki, kind
Yeah,
of leading to the opening weekend of the Marvels.
it
Like
it
some kind of teaser would be kind of cool.
it would be cool, but I think the Marvels was originally supposed to come out in July, and they moved it back because of the strike.
Yeah,
So it wasn't
Yeah.
that's true.
it wasn't supposed to be on the same date to begin with. Uh,
Yeah,
but I do think that the Marvels are covering a completely different type of story. They're not really concerned with the multiverse. They're more concerned about the cosmic portion of the MCU. I feel like there's little pockets of MCUs right now, right? There's like the ground
yeah,
level, which includes the Thunderbolts. Then there's the multiverse saga, which includes uh, Doctor Strange and Loki and Ant-Man. And then there's the cosmic portion, which includes Guardians of the Galaxy characters and Miss Marvel and the Marvels. So there's like these little pockets of like storylines that are like simultaneously going on. So which is kind of cool. I love that, but I don't see the multiverse one overlapping with the Marvels one until we have like something like Secret Wars or something.
yeah. No, I could, but I could see that, but I can also see it as we think they're not connected until something cosmic involves
The
Kang, or
multiverse,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
I could see that. I don't see that happening in the Marvels, but I could be wrong. But I could see that happening in the future for sure. For sure. There's got to be a point where they start bringing a lot of these stories together. So we'll see. I'm very curious to see like the Winter Soldier go up against Kang. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah. It'll be no. What it'll be? It'll be a Kang that is a Winter Soldier.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
Then you have a Kang Iron Man, a Kang Hulk, a Kang Thor. It's gonna be
Yes.
great.
A kangaroo. No, there'll be, there'll be so many
Kang
Kangs.
Vengers assemble.
Oh man, there's like a little bacteria, Kangivitis. Like they're just everywhere. Oh man. All right, cool, man. MTF, thank you for joining us on short notice. We love having you
Thanks
on
for
the
inviting
show.
me on. I love popping on when I can.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
so happy you got to be on. We didn't even
Always
have
a
a
great
guest today.
time.
But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. Tomorrow we will be capturing the Golden Bachelor and the Bachelorette, and then we're gonna be doing Love Is Blind, and then we'll be back to Loki.
cool. And you said you guys are doing pods for Gen V as well.
Yeah. So what we're gonna
At
do is
some point.
we're gonna wait for
Okay.
the season to wrap up to the middle, and then we're gonna do like the first half of Gen V, and then we're gonna do the second half of Gen V. We're not gonna do
Okay.
episode by episode. I mean, we are gonna do
Got it,
episode by
got it.
episode, but we're not gonna do like week to week.
Got
So we're gonna wait for like the first 4 episodes, or like I think first 4 episodes already dropped. So we'll talk about like I think next week we'll talk about Gen V stuff, and then we'll do a second episode when the season ends.
So
So
that's
that'll be
really cool. Yeah, I binged a bunch of episodes over the
Me
weekend. And I'm not,
too. Me too. That
yeah,
show's
I'm not
wild.
caught up, but yeah, I'm loving it. I'm really digging it. So you know, hopefully when you guys decide you want to talk about it, you can slot me in real quick.
Yo, say no
For
more,
sure.
bro. Say no more. We got you. We got you for sure. All right, man. Thanks for joining us, guys, and everybody else. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, Salaam, nerds.
Peace.